Hello, everybody, and welcome to Disrupt Your Now with me, your host, Lisa Kipps-Brown. And my guest tonight, y'all may have seen on some of my social media, Donnell John Sr. He is the founder of Veterans Growing America. And the reason you may have seen him on some of my social media is because recently we had his organization on the hood and the quarter panel of Colin Garrett's NASCAR ride. So, and we had posted a bunch of pictures on that. So, Donnell, I'm so excited to have you on here, and I want you to introduce yourself. Oh, wait, sorry, I forgot to say, y'all, Donnell is a retired Command Sergeant Major from the Army. So, long distinguished career in the Army, and then became an entrepreneur. So, take it away, Donnell, and tell us some more about your background.
Wow, I think you said it all. I want to hear more about you now. But no.
Well, you got to have lots of tidbits like how you ended up with the Army and how you ended up making it that high and everything.
Man, so I actually joined the Army right out of high school back in the early 90s. So I joined October 17th of 1990. It's actually the year after. I'm originally from San Francisco. And on October 17th of 1989, they had the huge earthquake.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, remember that?
Yeah, I
And
remember it. I couldn't remember which year.
I lived through that. And then the following year to the day, I actually joined the Army. And it was October 17th of 1990. And I went to basic training, job training. And then from there, my first assignment was actually Desert Storm.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Trial by fire.
Exactly. Yeah, straight out of training, right into Desert Storm.
Yeah.
That was an eye-opening experience because I really didn't think that I was going to go to war, especially with the job that I picked. I was a human resource specialist at the time. It was called a 71 Lima administrative specialist. I kept on telling the drill sergeant, I'm like, what am I going to do? Throw a typewriter at the enemy? And it was like, yeah.
Yeah, I'm like you. I wouldn't have thought that you would have been one of the first people over there like that.
Yeah. In fact, I spent 8 months in Saudi Arabia for the first part of my career. After that, I served in Virginia at Fort Eustis. While I was at Fort Eustis, I went to Somalia. They were just sending me places back to back. Following that, I went to Korea. I was stationed at the joint base, Panmunjom, which was on the border of North Korea and South Korea.
Okay.
Yeah, so I was going to things back to back. And
so right there near the DMZ?
Yeah, not right there. I was on the DMZ.
On the DMZ, okay.
Yes, I could actually look into North Korea.
So people out there, if y'all are not familiar with the military, whenever you see stuff about somebody sneaking over from one country to another, that's the DMZ. Or when they talk about people pointing their guns at each other, that's where Donnell was.
Yes, they sent me, places back to back. Finally, I got a cushy job, the job that I had been waiting for after like 10 years in the military. I was working at the military entrance processing station.
Mm-hmm.
And I was able to process people into the military out in Denver. While I was in Denver, I met my beautiful wife. And from there, I became a recruiter.
Awesome.
Transferred as an AGR into the Army National Guard. And I ended up enlisting over almost 300 people into the Army National Guard.
Over what time period?
Over a 3-year time period.
Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah, and then I worked my way up to the top. I was the senior recruiting and retention sergeant major for the entire Army National Guard. Mm-hmm. From there, I became the first Army National Guard G1 sergeant major. So the senior bottle washer and administrative person for the entire Army National Guard. Then I went back into recruiting and served with the President's Army, the DC Army National Guard. And then I retired from there.
That's so interesting. So after you and Tonda got married, did y'all have to live overseas, or were you just in America?
No. Luckily, I was a recruiter at that time, and I didn't have to deploy.
Yeah.
Had several soldiers deploy,
Mm-hmm.
but luckily I didn't have to deploy while
That's
while I
how
was with my
Tom and
wife.
I were. He had lived all over the world until he met me, and then after I was with him, I never got the fun part, but I never got the challenges either. You know, because all of his duty stations were in America. So
Now we did travel overseas several different times, but we weren't stationed overseas.
yeah. So I want to ask you, so all these years in the military with specializing in human resources stuff,
Hmm.
so did you think then that you would end up being an entrepreneur, or did you see yourself more as going out into the corporate world?
At the time, I had no idea what I wanted to do.
Mhm.
I was a soldier. I was the soldier of fortune.
Oh yeah.
I loved being a soldier and never really thought about being an entrepreneur until my last 3 years in the military. I was like, how could I be and do the same thing that I did in the military as a sergeant major? And I was like, I want to be a leadership success coach. I had
Mhm.
no idea what that was or even if it was a real thing. One day on my way to train another state, I jumped in the car with an Uber driver and I was talking to the Uber driver about what I wanted to do. And he was just like, my sister does that.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. And he was like, you want me to introduce you to her? I was like, absolutely. And so he introduced me to his sister. I sat down. I went to his sister's office. She talked to me about how she became a leadership success coach. I went through the same program that she went through, and you know, right after I retired, I started a leadership consulting firm, a Vision Worldwide
Okay, because
leadership consulting.
I had seen that firm that you had, but I wasn't sure the sequence of events, like starting that versus
Hmm.
VGA. That's really cool. And so from that, I want to pull out a lesson for everybody. You never know who you might be talking with. And
Hmm.
th- it's amazing who could be just one person away from whoever you're talking with. So always keep your eyes and ears open. It doesn't mean you have to go pound on people all the time and say, "Do you know anybody?" But take the opportunity to chat with people, and you never know what might come out of it. That's really cool.
Yeah, that's a huge lesson. I mean, the one thing that I learned in my time in the military is if you want to do or be something, tell people what you want to be, and they may introduce you to the right person.
Yes,
Um, the
because
re
people can't guess it. They
Right,
yeah, they're if and so and not only is that like what you want to be, but when you are an entrepreneur and you're looking for clients, it's the same thing there. You need to tell people what type of client you need and what you want to do for those clients or customers because people like to help each other. But if you just go, "Can you refer some people to me?" They don't know what to do. So, but if you tell people specifically what it is that you want, people do like to help, don't they?
absolutely. In fact, I turned HELP into an acronym. And so H is holistically elevating life's leadership potential.
Ooh, I like it.
And if you ask people for help, that's a disabling word. People automatically be like, "Oh, you need help? I have your back," right? And
Hmm.
so, whenever I needed something or wanted to learn something, in fact, the reason the way that I became a command sergeant major is I asked the sergeant major when I was an E5, "How do I become a sergeant major?"
Okay.
And so I immediately had that person as a mentor, and they taught me exactly what I needed to do. And so it was just like a cheat code, in a
Yeah.
video game. They showed
Uh-huh.
me, they they taught me exactly what I needed to do, and so I was able to make it. So I majored in 17 years
Oh man.
based off of the mentorship and the leadership and guidance that I received from that sergeant major.
That's another great lesson because when you have a mentor who's already done what you want to do, learning from them helps you take shortcuts because they've already made the mistakes and they're able to help you avoid the mistakes that they made.
Absolutely. I mean, there's so many things and so many ways to make it, but if you have somebody just, guiding you through that and teaching you exactly what you need to do, it makes it a
Mhm.
whole lot easier.
That's really cool. All right, so you were out after you retired, you were out doing your leadership coaching. You had your own
Yes.
firm. You were doing leadership coaching and consulting. were you doing it mostly in the corporate environment or for other entrepreneurs or what?
So I was doing it in a corporate environment. I actually went back to the Army National Guard and I was training. I went from state to state training recruiters as well as leaders on how to lead and how to get the
Okay.
most out of their teams. I also did training with the FDA.
Mm.
I did training with OPM. I also did training with, I already said the Army National Guard, Homeland Security.
Wow.
I did, yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Sounds like you were really busy.
Yes, yes, very busy.
Yeah. So you're in the midst of doing all that. How did Veterans Growing America come about?
So um, I was introduced to coming back to, because when I left the military, I left not really connecting with any veteran organization whatsoever. I wanted
Mhm.
to leave the military and figure out who Donnell was.
Yeah.
And because, being a command sergeant major, it comes with, certain frills. You walk into a room, everybody stands up, you ask for certain things and things happen. And so I'm like, okay, but who am I? And how do I add value to the world? And I really stepped away from the military. And then I started being a part of this organization called 1 Million Cups. In fact, I went to a 1 Million Cups in my local area, and I was like, "This is amazing.
Mhm.
How does um, how does this work?" And I saw that this 1 Million Cups was great, but I felt like I could add more value to it, putting my spin on it. And so
Mhm.
I created my own 1 Million Cups out of Fairfax, which still goes on every Wednesday. Every Wednesday from 9 a.m. to 10 p.m., we help out a different entrepreneur. And
Oh,
so I went to an event that they had in another state, and I met my business partner, and we talked about helping veterans. And so Veterans Growing America was born from that. Uh, and it started off as Veterans Grow Virginia, and
mhm.
then we was like, you know what, we could help everybody. You know, Veterans, every place need a place where they, especially veteran entrepreneurs. There was a gap in the space as far as veteran entrepreneurs are concerned.
Mhm.
When I what I mean by that is there's a lot of organizations that train veteran entrepreneurs how to start a business, but there's really no organization out there that connects veteran entrepreneurs with customers,
Oh, yeah. That's so true.
right? And then they don't connect each other with each other while they're doing business. Like
Mhm.
when you're collaborating and you have a community of people working together for the same common goal, it's a win-win opportunity and situation for everybody. A
For
person that sells popcorn can also a person that buys popcorn can also buy, some body aqua,
Mhm. Yeah, yeah.
and they could also buy, Monifa's head wraps at the same time.
That's
And so
right. And
all
collaboration is so important. It's like you have exponential results when you're collaborating with other people.
absolutely. And so if we I wanted a place where entrepreneurs can collaborate, make money, have a great time, feel confident about what they're doing, and having a team of individuals that can support in their success.
Mhm.
It's a win all over because in the military we were taught to take care of each other.
Yeah.
But once we left the military and you step into this world, it's a totally different world. It's a
Mhm.
dog eat dog world out here. Everybody's trying to do something to win that dollar. When if we work together, everybody wins.
That's right. Everybody wins. Everybody wins even bigger than they would
Right.
if they were just thinking about themselves. Yeah, I think when I first met you, I know you had Veterans Grow Virginia, and I think you were just starting or had just starting Veterans Grow America. I
Yep.
think this was like I don't know, 2.5 years ago or something.
I can't
So,
remember, where did we meet at? Or how did we
we
meet?
met uh, either through Smurf or maybe through Stephanie Brown. Well, I
Yes.
think I had actually met y'all on social media, but the first time I talked with y'all was either with Smurf or with Stephanie.
We talked with Smurf. I remember that now because he introduced us.
Mhm.
He introduced us virtually.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
he's a
I
great guy,
remember.
and
Yeah.
he's another one that's a member of VGA, right?
Yes, In fact, that is my camera guy. Hashtag I am your camera guy.
Yep.
He's our camera guy.
He's
In
the
fact,
guy. You know, I think almost all of the veteran entrepreneurs that I've met over the past 2 to 3 years, I think almost all of them are members of VGA.
yes, it's, we are a tight community. Everybody that, goes under our umbrella, we become family, and we
Mhm.
just, we just work together and help each other out. Um,
Are military spouses allowed or just veterans?
Actually, we allow military spouses, and we also allow dependents.
Oh,
You
great.
know,
Okay.
so children of veterans, they can, they can vend at our event.
Mhm.
Um, the whole we believe the whole family served. You know,
Yes.
even I'm going to say this. I don't know, how people are going to react to it, but even divorced spouses of veterans,
Mhm.
I believe they serve the hardest. Because it's not easy. Being a spouse of a veteran, that's not an easy job, and so
Yeah.
we still honor their service. Even if they're divorced from their service member. I mean, it's a hard road.
Yeah, I didn't know that, but you were so right, and I think it's so great that you do that because spouses, if they do end up divorced, they have sacrificed so much and they've been part of this community. And then when they go through a divorce, all of a sudden they're left to drift on their own. And
Right.
just as you talked about getting out of the military in the dog eat dog world, and this person is kind of thrown out, thrust out, even if by choice. And it is such a big adjustment.
Yes, I
Um,
mean, they move from place to place, giving up, part of their life to support
mhm.
their veteran, and so, we honor that service, and
Yeah.
we believe in, the sacrifices that they made as well.
Well, and what do you, okay, I know y'all do the expos where you go around to various bases and installations and so forth, and business owners will set up tents and sell their whatever
Hmm.
their goods are, from Body Aqua to Monifa's head wraps. Um, what else do y'all do? Do you have meetings, meetups, or what?
Yeah, so in fact, you'll see our on December 9th, we're about to have our first Veterans Connect in a long time, and so our Veterans Connect are networking events where it's actually real networking.
Okay.
So we're going to have a SCORE mentor explain what SCORE is and how they can connect with SCORE. And that's going to be about 15 minutes. And then we're going to have a true hour of true networking where we're going to
Nice.
disperse people in groups. They're going to be able to talk about, what they need and what they can offer,
Mhm.
and really communicate with each other instead of, this orchestrated um, meeting where someone's, telling them something, they fall asleep in front of the camera, or the camera's off, or they're not paying attention. They could
Yeah.
actually connect with other veterans throughout the United States.
And then if you weren't doing that in those other scenarios, they're listening and then they leave and they're like, okay, what am I going to do with this? So I
Right.
love that. The other thing that I think is great about y'all having the expos on the bases and installations is it gives exposure to the families and the active duty members so that it plants that seed of entrepreneurialism when they may not have thought about it otherwise.
Absolutely. I mean, like I told you when I was in, I didn't know what my other options were. I didn't even
Mhm.
think about entrepreneurship at all. And so if I would have went to the exchange and I saw other veteran entrepreneurs out there, maybe it would have been a thought in my mind earlier, and maybe I could have
Mhm.
started a business while I was in.
That's true.
But
Yeah.
it really means a lot, and it also means a lot to the veteran. When they go to a base that they served on and are able to sell, their goods to at a place where they used to shop,
Yeah.
that is huge.
Yeah, that's such a great point, and people don't realize a lot of people don't realize, even if they're the veteran, when they get out, how much staying in touch with that community means. And I
Hmm.
count my husband in that. When he got out, he was kind of like you. He'd been in 6 years. He's like, I need to be, he loved his time in, but he's like, I need to do something different. I need to find out that I can do other things. And so he intentionally kind of separated himself off. And it's only been since I've been working, meeting people like you because of the NASCAR team, because of us working to prevent veteran suicide. It's only been because of all these connections I'm making that he's kind of accidentally gotten pulled back into the community.
Hmm.
And it's made such a difference in how he feels. He's been on podcasts to tell his story. And I also have a friend who has a podcast for veterans and active duty who's going to be transitioning out, helping the brave. And that guy, Ed, was active duty, but he got out like 1990, 91. He was only in like 4 years. So when he left, he's like, the last thing he was thinking about was military. Then all
Hmm.
these years later, around the time he met me 3 years ago, he was starting to realize I really should have kept in touch with some of those people. And so it's funny how he had no intention for decades, even though he was only in 4 years. It's really made a big difference in his life, all the people that he's gotten to meet over the past couple of years.
No, it's made a big difference in my life as well. I mean, just being able to connect with other people that think like me,
Mhm.
and being in this world. And one of the things that we wanted to do with Veterans Grow America is really change the narrative on how America sees the veteran population. You know, Oftentimes they lead with negative stuff about our community,
Mhm.
but if they really saw the leaders that we are, I'm gonna list off a name, some organizations, and when you hear these names, you think these are some of the best organizations out here, like Nike.
Uh-huh.
Nike was veteran owned. You
Yep.
know, it was run by Phil Knight, U.S. Army. You know, FedEx, Fred Smith, he was a U.S. Marine. GoDaddy,
Yep.
Phil Parsons, he was a U.S. Marine. Chick-fil-A, that's Truett, U.S. Army. Little Caesars, Mailboxes, Paris Systems, and American AOL. All of these are veterans. And so when we think about these organizations, these are all veteran-led organizations. We make leaders. That's what we do. And so I want people to see us as leaders, see us as entrepreneurs, and see us as human beings. Not these, not the X-Men
Yeah.
people that they really show us as. But if they
I
see us
love
as
that,
human,
Donnell. And I think a lot of the reason that people don't realize how many veterans are out there really making a difference in the civilian world is a lot of veterans tend to not talk about being a veteran.
hmm
And a lot of them have told me it's because they do worry about being pigeonholed or being stereotyped, or so they're more reluctant to talk about being a veteran or let people know. Have you noticed that in people that you know?
absolutely. In fact, when we were, putting together Veterans Grow America, I stopped by this veteran shoe store. And I didn't even know the guy was a veteran. I was actually getting my bag fixed. And I asked him, I was like, are you a veteran? And he was like, why do you ask? I was like, I'm a veteran myself and I like to shop with veteran organizations. He was like, yes, I serve. And I
Yeah.
was like, cool. I was like, I would love to, take a picture with you and then, post it online so people can come out and support you. He was like, no, thank you. I was like,
Yeah.
why? He was like, I'm fine. That's okay. But this guy came from the Vietnam era where it
Mhm.
wasn't okay to be a veteran. And so he
Right.
still has PTSD from that,
Mhm.
you know, and didn't want to, be recognized as a veteran because people thought about us in a different manner back then.
Yeah.
And, I also, see a lot of people, not really saying that they're veterans just because of the stigma behind, you know, the PTSD, suicide, and
Mhm.
homelessness message that they put out there. Those are good messages, to support us, but at the same time, we can't lead with that. We
Right,
gotta
and can't put that label on everybody. And my husband is actually Vietnam era. He served 3 years in the Vietnam War, and,
wow.
I'm a lot younger than him, so I was just a little kid, only saw it on TV, but still distinctly remember all the stuff on the news, how they were treated when they came home. And so, yeah, it was totally different. But even
Mhm.
now, even though the military is treated better now, a lot of people still feel self-conscious about letting people know that they're veterans because they feel like they're going to be labeled or in a certain way.
Right. And it's a great thing to be a veteran. Um, I love the fact that, we are all indoctrinated through basic training and you got to go through something hard.
Yeah.
And we always remember our time during basic training and we always remember our drill sergeants. You know, it was a great time. And then just to be able to communicate, collaborate, and just connect with other veterans, especially when they're doing something like you. You can be like, hey, man, this is what I'm doing, and they could talk to each other and help each other out. I
Yeah.
mean, it's a lot of fun. I
Yeah.
mean, you've
I
been to
didn't,
our event.
I didn't hear that last thing.
No, I said you've been to our event, and
Oh,
you saw
yeah.
the energy and the love that everybody has. I mean, it was just amazing, right?
Yeah, and a lot of the people there at the expo with their products were people that I'd known for like a year and a half, 2 years, but I'd never gotten to meet them in person because of COVID. So,
Right.
like, Sherman Williams with Body Aqua, we'd known each other 2 years, and, and then Annette Wittenberger, and so lots of people like that, and so it was really wild. It's like, have we never, we don't realize that we haven't ever been in person with each other, but it is a lot of fun.
You are a lot taller in person. I did want to say
Oh, really?
that.
I'm only 5'4.5", so I must look really short. I must look really short online if I'm taller in person. That's funny. Well, you are a lot taller than I realized you were.
Yeah, people don't realize that I'm 6'2". They're like, "Dang, you're tall."
Yeah, you are. You are. Well, let's talk about. So we talked about you were in human resources, and even though human resources, a part of that is leadership. If you had envisioned yourself career wise and you were thinking human resources, you probably would have thought the typical human resources stuff,
Hmm.
not taking one small part out and expanding on it in kind of a totally separate way.
Right.
Um, and that's what people don't realize, but they only look at what they're doing like in a straight line. So let's talk about, well, I know that you were interested in leadership and then met that woman, but let's talk about some of the people that you've met, some of the entrepreneurs that you've met, um, and even people, if they're not entrepreneurs, people who've transitioned out that you've seen them find their gift.
Hmm. No, one person in particular that um, I don't know if you know Jay Salters, Act Now Education.
No, I don't.
So Jay Salters, Act Now Education. For those of you that don't know anything about Act Now Education, it is a great resource for those that are trying to get some sort of certification, improve your education. His whole mission is to help people uh, get education for free.
Wow. Is it, and it's not just for the military?
It is for people that have served, and so
Okay.
he finds a ton of free resources for veterans
Mhm.
that have served. If you're a part of his platform, you get free membership to Coursera. They also connect you with stuff like Lean Six Sigma, different
Awesome.
resources out there to help you pay for school, to help you get certifications while you're in, or even if you have served before.
Mhm.
And I had met Jay, I met Chris, and I met a couple other people I met Natasha at Mick. And
Uh-huh.
all of these people were just now starting their business, and just seeing their growth and the things that they're able to accomplish from 3 years ago till today is absolutely amazing. And they're all using the abilities that they used in the military, the leadership that they use in the military to be able to grow their business.
Mhm.
And I believe they're grown exponentially, not because of Veterans Growing America, but because of the communication and collaboration that they've done with each other, you
Yeah.
know, and through our community. They put information out in our groups. In fact, we just created a new platform. If people go to veteransgrowingamerica.com, we created a new platform. In fact, it was launched the day that we had the NASCAR,
Oh,
and
okay.
and it's an e-commerce platform where people, veterans, can sell their products. It's also a social networking platform, so veterans, military spouses, and dependents can communicate and collaborate with each other.
Nice.
Um, it's We could also put resources on there, so any new information that we find out about grants or free resources or any type of resources that will help, a veteran business or a veteran as a whole, we put in that platform. And so your question was, how have I seen people grow? I've seen people grow in so many different ways. Monifa, when I met her, her business was an idea,
Mhm.
and she came out to our first expo and was like, you know what? All of these people have their business. I'm starting my business. They're not going to leave me behind. And
Mhm.
I'm here to tell you that Monifa probably left a lot of them behind.
Blown it wide open. For those of y'all who've never seen me post about Monifa, she was selected by Macy's to be in their what do they call it? The workshop at Macy's, which is
Mhm.
the premier workshop to help independent businesses, small businesses become vendors to Macy's. So yeah, Monifa's amazing. And I love that she took something in her personal life that she felt strongly about. So for those of y'all, she sells head wraps and hair wraps and
Mhm.
stuff. And she was unhappy because she couldn't wear her hair naturally because she's black. She couldn't wear her hair naturally at work because she was stereotyped. And people would say pretty nasty things if she had her hair in braids, didn't have it slicked back. So I love that she took that thing that she was unhappy about and felt hurt about and turned it around and turned it into something positive, Donnell.
Absolutely. And she just vended at a football game, you
Yes,
know?
for
Wasn't that crazy?
The Washington football team. I started to say the Redskins because I always forget, but yeah, the Washington football team. That was amazing.
Mhm. And it's whenever I think about the veterans that, are a part of our community, I think about they're doing something that's passionate and it also solves a problem for them or the community, you
Yeah.
know? And when I think about it, I think about VGA as alternative therapy in so many different ways. Like you said, coming together as veteran entrepreneurs, like when your husband, was around other veterans, it made him feel better as a person.
Yeah.
It gave him hope and it made him, feel a lot better. And so, when we come together and we're able to do our passion, whatever that is, whether it's making a wooden cutting board or something like that, and then somebody buys it from them,
Mhm.
it validates them.
Yes, it does. And when you're around people that you have something in common with, whether it's the military, college, anything, whenever
Yep.
you're around people that you have something in common with, you automatically have that thing that you can relate to each other with, but especially with the military because y'all understand where each other are coming from. I want to talk about collaboration again because a lot of the VGA businesses do some really cool collaborating. For example, Annette Wittenberger and Donald Dodson with
Yep.
Donald's Leather, but he also, I just saw, was it
Keep your
Monifa?
hair head. Yeah. No, it was Natasha. He
Yeah,
did keep
Natasha.
he did keep your hair headgear. He did a bag for her.
Yeah, that
You
was
know.
really nice. I saw it on LinkedIn a week or so ago. Really nice.
I mean, that's what we do as a community. I mean, the collaboration, it'll blow your mind, with the stuff that's going on. In fact, my Red Friday shirts are made by Triple Nickel.
Oh, cool. Okay,
Yeah.
tell people what Red Friday is and tell them what triple nickel is.
So Red Friday is so every Friday you wear red, and red, signifies remember everyone deployed. And we wear red because most people forget that people are deployed, unless they see it on TV. Like we had all of those soldiers coming back from Afghanistan. What they don't know is that people are still deployed even though we left Afghanistan.
Mhm.
And people get deployed all the time. And so we wear red to remind people that your freedoms are, free. You're free because of the sacrifices that veterans have made.
Yeah, so true. So tell them, I said, tell them about, what was the
Oh,
second
and
one? Yeah,
triple
triple
nickel.
nickel. Yeah.
So triple nickel, they just had a thing that came out. They said they're this little T-shirt company. They're not a little T-shirt company. They're a veteran apparel company, and their whole mission is to talk about the diversity that's in the military.
Mhm.
Everybody served. All races, creed, colors, sexes, and everything. And they just want to make sure that people get recognized for their service. To include women. And so they just make apparel that signifies the diversity, within our community, which is great. I mean, you know, the one thing that I remember about wearing a uniform is people came from all over the place. My battle buddy and I were two totally different individuals, you know, and we came together and we became a unit.
Yeah.
And we were one thought, one mind, one body, you know, when we served together. So, you know, that's the one thing that I miss, and that's the community that we created with Veterans Growing America.
I love that. And whenever we do all come together, we're so much stronger. And people put so much emphasis on how we're different when we all have so much more in common than we have different. And I met those guys up at Fort Belvoir at the thing. They're
Yes,
a lot of fun.
yes, they are a lot of fun. They're all a bunch of special forces guys.
Oh,
Uh,
really?
yes, you know, Chris, special forces,
Yeah,
Ruben
I knew
Ayala,
he
special
was.
forces. Yeah.
Mhm.
And so there are a bunch of special forces guys that were in the triple nickel. They started out their career in the 555th um, Infantry Company out of Fort Bragg. And so that's why it's triple nickel.
Oh, okay. I love the name of it. And
Yeah, it's a lot of
earlier
history.
earlier you mentioned MIC. For people that don't know, that's Military Influencer Conference, right?
Yes, the Military Influencer Conference. I have to say that is one of the best conferences that I ever been to,
Yeah.
because they provided so many resources, and it was just great to connect with other veteran entrepreneurs. You know, I learned so much at that conference, and I met a lot of great people. My favorite part was actually being in the hallway, just building new relationships. I
Yeah.
l- I love meeting new people, and I love hearing people's stories, and I love sharing people's stories. So that was just an amazing event.
That's really cool. I had actually paid to go in 2020.
Mm.
And then, of course, missed it because of COVID. So I'm really excited to see what he has coming down the pipe, and see what all they're going to be doing.
I I know whatever it is, it's gonna be amazing. Knowing Cortez and how he thinks, and the stuff that he puts together, whatever he puts his hands on turns to gold. So I'm looking
Mhm.
forward to it.
Yeah. Donnell, what would you say is your biggest lesson that you've learned from becoming an entrepreneur or from working with other entrepreneurs?
Invest in yourself,
Okay.
and what I mean by that is either you're gonna pay for it or you're gonna pay for it, right?
Yeah.
Um, and so uh, you have to uh, you have to kind of invest in sometimes mentors or coaches. Sometimes you got to invest in certain training. um, Sometimes you have to invest in resources that are going to help you get the reach that you need. You really need to invest in yourself and learn, put yourself in uncomfortable situations so you
Mhm.
can grow. Every day I try to find one thing that I didn't know, and I try to learn it so I can grow. It's hard to be uncomfortable. I've never been an event planner like this until I started this organization. You know, it drives me nuts to be able to do it because there's so many moving parts, and I'm so linear. You
Yeah.
know, and there's things that come out of the blue that happen, but connect yourself with positive people. There's enough negativity out there. Connect yourself with positive people. Make sure that you invest in yourself, and then find ways that you can laugh on a daily basis.
Oh, that's great advice.
Yeah. In fact, one thing that I left out about my original story is I actually started this training that I had. It was called Leadership and Laughter,
Oh,
and that's one of the things that I did right before we had Veterans Grow Virginia. Is I did some training. Shout out to Darren, who was my partner. We taught people how, basic fundamentals of leadership, and then how to use improv to build
oh,
relationships. And so the
oh,
rules
that's
of
really
improv,
cool.
yeah, it was a lot of fun, and people had fun doing our training.
Oh, that does sound like a lot of fun. I hadn't heard about that.
I may have to bring it back, after
Yeah,
everything clears up. We may have to do a comeback of leadership and laughter.
that's right. Before we go, I want to point out to people what Donnell, what you said earlier about the military being a cross section of everybody, race, creed, ethnicity, gender, everything. And it is so true. And y'all all come together. That's not to say everything's perfect, of course. It's like anything else in the world. People have their differences and stuff, but overall, the people in the military are so bonded and so tight. And because y'all are so self-disciplined and so well trained, you make great entrepreneurs. And I'll tell
Hmm.
you, a convenience store chain that I know, for them, veterans are the number one franchisees. They're the number one in success. And women veterans, within veterans, women are more successful than men.
I believe
You
that.
could say maybe because of the little bit of extra hardships they had to go through. Who knows? Who knows why? But my message to people out there in the corporate world, if you're listening to me and Donnell, if y'all are interested in working with veterans, buying from veterans, anything, it's a great community to be part of, whether you want to hire veterans or you want to be able to buy from them. And also, we would love you to be part of our racing team. Colin Garrett, the Xfinity Series driver, and everything that we do is to help improve military family lives. Donnell, I really believe in a holistic approach to everything, and that's
Hmm.
basically what you're doing, because you can't help one part of a person if everything else is going awry. What you're trying to do in this one part isn't going to help that much.
No, you're absolutely right. First, I want to just say to Colin Garrett, congratulations on that race that he did out in Martinsville. Coming, what was he, a 32nd?
Yeah, something, I think, 32nd or 33rd, maybe even higher. I can't remember.
32nd or 33rd, and he went from there all the way to 15 on a half a mile track. I mean, that boy was driving his butt off.
He was, and it was actually, I think he actually finished 14th, and the brakes, he had a problem with the brakes.
Right,
So it probably 2/3 of the way through the race, he was still at like 32 because he'd gotten up to 20 something. Then he fell back because of the issue with the brakes. But when he got it right, man, I was like, God, if we'd only had a few more laps, who knows? He might have been top 10. So he is a great driver.
but I think it happened that way because, veterans, no matter what the issue is, we find a way to complete the mission. you know and
Yep.
that's what happened with Colin. Is no matter what the adversity is, hey, the mission, we came here to win. We're going to do our best to win, no matter if we got breaks or not. We just going to go forward, and we
That's
just going to
right.
continue to move forward. And no, that was great. I really enjoyed. That was my first time being at a NASCAR race,
Mhm.
and there was so many lessons just by watching him drive and all of these cars going around. There was a strategy to it, but
Yeah,
it
the
was just so many
teamwork.
things. Yes.
People that aren't familiar with it don't realize how much teamwork it is just right there in the pits, not even counting everything leading up to it. And they don't realize physically how hard it is on the driver and the people in the pits. And it really is a very cool sport.
Even when I had my headphones on and listening to Ryan tell him, is it Ryan? Somebody was coaching him.
Oh,
Um,
the spotter. Yeah.
yeah, the spotter was coaching him on what to do, and he was listening. And I mean, it's just that whole leader. It was just beautifully orchestrated
Yeah.
when everything came together as one. So no, that was a great. If you guys have an opportunity to sponsor a racing team, this is the racing team that you need to sponsor. It's a great crew of individuals that are about taking care of one another and our community. So if you have an opportunity to sponsor the car, please do it.
Thanks, Donnell. I appreciate that message. And Colin, both of his older brothers are active duty. So they're a
Yes,
double Blue Star family. So
yes,
I'm it's just really cool because everything that we're doing is personal. It isn't like we're just doing it for a gimmick.
right,
It's something that we really care about. So
absolutely.
all right, tell everybody how they can find out more about Veterans Growing America and also how they can connect with you, Donnell.
So Veterans Growing America. So we spotlight the contributions of veteran, military spouse, and dependent entrepreneurs. You can reach us at veteransgrowingamerica.com. Become a member of our platform. If you search Veteran Business Expo, you'll find all of our events. You can Google it, you can hashtag it, or whatever. We actually have a Veteran Business Expo in Tampa, Florida, December 18th, which is in 2 weeks, at MacDill Air Force Base at the Exchange. And so if you're in the Florida area, come on out. If you're looking to be a vendor for that event, do me a favor. You only have till tomorrow. So tomorrow we're shutting it off at midnight. We're shutting it off at midnight. And so if you want to be a vendor at that event, Google Veteran Business Expo. You'll find it on Eventbrite. Get you a ticket. Become a vendor. You will not regret it. It's an amazing community of individuals. We also have an e-commerce platform, which is our Veterans Grow America platform, Growing America platform, where you can share, you can sell your goods there, and people will be coming there to shop. You know, so Lisa, thank you so much for this opportunity. It's always good to hang with you, no matter whether it's virtually or in person.
Oh,
We have a
you're
good time.
welcome. I've loved speaking with you and had a great time. And I need to join VGA. I don't know why I hadn't before. I think I thought it was just for veterans. So I need to join.
I don't know why you haven't joined yet. What are you waiting on?
I don't know. I think I really did think it was just for veterans, which shows what you get when you assume. So
No, I think because the name says Veterans Growing America, but the way that we look at it is, you know, the veteran is the entire family.
yeah.
You know, we don't want to, you know, and when I say the entire family, we even have dependents, you know, a part of our event. In fact, the event that you came to, I don't know if you remember Novio Brand, he sold beard oil, but his son was vending right next to him, and he was selling board games and all kind of stuff at the event.
Okay. Yeah, I saw him, but I didn't realize he was his son. That's cool.
Yeah, and so his son was learning entrepreneurship. In fact, I'm not supposed to say this, but his son sold more than he did.
I love it. That's awesome. Well, Donnell, I can't wait to get together again sometime in person, but thank you so much for talking with me tonight. I really appreciate it.
No, thank you so much. I appreciate it as well.
We'll see y'all. I'll see y'all next week, next Tuesday night at 7 o'clock for the next show. Bye.